What's up, everyone? Mike here from The Art of Guitar, here to talk about something kind of strange today. I remember the first time I used the power of the dark side to get good at something. I was in Little League, and I wanted to be the pitcher so bad on the team, but I played first base. After about midway through the season, we were 0-5 and we had nothing to lose, so the coach let me, at practice, pitch a few balls to people. And I remember I used to just practice with tennis balls against my garage doors. So I had pretty good accuracy and I had decent mechanics and everything. But when I actually went to face a live batter, it was a person on my team because it was practice. I remember throwing it and trying so hard not to hit the person. I was kind of nervous about that. So I was worried about hitting them. I really wanted to hit the target. That was my main goal. So anyways, I threw about 10 pitches and they were pretty accurate. And all of a sudden I heard one of the dads from one of the teammates, he was watching our practice, say, he was kind of whispering to the coach, but I heard him, he said, "Keep lobbing it in there, buddy." And it was being sarcastic because I was throwing it, kind of lobbing the ball, afraid I was going to hit the batter. So that made me super mad. I remember being on the mound and just being like super pissed. And so I just decided to whip the ball as hard as I could at the catcher. And I didn't even care about the batter anymore. I was almost like, if I hit him, too bad. And the catcher was kind of taken aback. He's like, "Whoa, what got into you?" And the batter backed away, I remember, but it was right down the middle. So not only did I have the accuracy, now I had the fire behind it. So that kind of woke me up a little bit. I was like, wow, I actually had the capability of doing that, but I was holding back the whole time until I got mad. So it's kind of like a Hulk thing too, I guess. I just had this power that I couldn't really tap into until something pushed me over the edge a little bit. After that, I actually ended up being on the All-Star team that year, and that was my first year in Little League, so it got me pretty far. So when I finally took up guitar a few years later, I found myself in that similar situation where I needed a few of the dark forces to push me through a couple of plateaus I had. In the beginning, it was all good stuff. It was like the love of the instrument, the passion of it all, just kind of like I had a passion for playing and expressing myself, and I loved the guitar. But over time, I found out that there was a couple of times where that didn't quite get me past a few of these plateaus. And I had to use anger, frustration, and competition, like a competitiveness, to really push me through some of these tough times when I didn't think I was ever going to get better. So the way I used anger was there was a point in time where it seemed like everybody was better than me. So we'd play a gig, I did a video of this before where I played a show and then right afterwards one of my friend's bands played and he just shredded it up. He was so good, at least at the time it seemed like it. And I just felt like everything I played sucked. And I remember I went downstairs and I wanted to quit guitar. So I was very upset about the idea that I just didn't feel like I was ever good enough, and I was always getting outshined. So I was very, very mad inside. And frustration came when I started recording at studios. And I thought I was really good because here I am doing, these crazy solos. I could play Eruption, but I couldn't play the simplest, maybe arpeggio patterns, just like playing acoustic guitar stuff. So I had a couple of moments where, everyone's watching. I'm supposed to play this kind of easy thing, and I kept screwing up. So it was very frustrating. And I would go home, and I couldn't go to sleep until I finally practiced it enough to where I had it. And that all came out of frustration because I just thought, I've been playing for 3 years now, and I can't even do this simple thing. So that was a wake-up call. So that was frustration helping me out, and it really did push me through some tough times. And as far as the competitive side goes, usually that's not a bad thing, but in my case, I was kind of using it as a dark force. And I remember at the talent show, we were in junior high, and these older guys were playing Crazy Train. And there was a guy named Johnny Evans, and he had the long blonde hair, and he could do all the shred techniques, and he played the solo perfect, and everybody was cheering, and we were all in awe. And so the next year, my goal was to play the talent show, and I wanted to be as good as he was. So I had this burning competition inside. I really wanted to get up to his level. So that really pushed me to practice endlessly. I was doing 8 to 10 hours a day. It was crazy. So in the end, the result was good, but inside I was burning up, so I can kind of see that as like a dark side type of energy that can propel you forward. The best part of using the dark side to get better is that you eventually have to transcend it. So when I started off on guitar, it was kind of innocent. I loved the guitar, I loved playing, and it just passed the time. I would look up at the clock and 10 hours had gone by. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden I hit this level where I wasn't getting much better. It just felt like I was stuck. And that dark energy pushed me through. It was kind of like I needed it at the time. But then, after years of doing that, I would have burnt up if I would have kept that going. You know, I didn't want to keep the dark energy going. So then I transcended it to the point where I was back to just loving the instrument and wanting to get better for the sake of the guitar and for myself as well. I didn't want to be that guy who's always, you know, looking at other people and trying to better them. I wanted to do it for myself over time. So it's kind of a strange stage you might go through, but if you're feeling a little bit like competitive or angry or frustrated, use it for good. Don't let it destroy you. Don't let it make you put the guitar down and want to quit, because a lot of people get to that point. You know, they practice and practice. They see like some 5-year-old on YouTube play it better than them, and they get angry inside, frustrated, maybe all three at once, and competitive, and they just throw the guitar down because it seems like they're never going to reach that stage. So in closing, I would say use the dark side to push through the barriers that you might find yourself at, the plateaus, just the hurdles that you hit, but don't let it burn you up inside, and don't let it make you quit, because sadly that does happen to a lot of people. So use it, and eventually it will transcend into the light energy once again, hopefully. All right, guys, hopefully that helps. I know it's a little bit of an esoteric idea kind of out there, but if you really see it for what it is, it can be a very powerful tool. And leave a comment, let me know if you've hit the dark side, if you've used it for good or for bad, and how it's helped you or not. Okay? Thanks, guys. We'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.